Good morning, good morning. You already know who it is. Targeted individual, aka empowered individual, CJBK. So it's about 3:20 or so a.m. here in New York City. I have survived. I guess I would call it more of a fear-mongering attack, not necessarily an intent to really try to kill me, but it was something to induce the fear that I might die. After the last post about creating it's interesting. So after I started placing the magnets on the reflectors, right? After I started placing the magnets on the reflectors, like I said in the last video, I felt the pressure relieve in my head. So I was like, how could placing magnets on a reflector that is made to conduct, I guess the energy, made to conduct energy, or to rather redirect it, because I think that's the whole point of the reflectors, is to basically create something that's like in the air that can draw the energy of a directed frequency away from the person that is being aimed at to the object. It's windy out here, but I was just like, how could me adding magnets onto a reflector cause the sensation of like reduced pressure inside the skull? Now, if you've been, damn, I just missed the bus. I knew that was going to happen too. All right, I'll just start walking then. So I started thinking to myself, okay, aerosolized nanobots or aerosolized nanotechnology, and then you throw in the fact that, there's all this, my vest falling off, there's all this light energy being transmitted from, the satellites, and they have these digital transmitters all over the world, basically. And then you also take into account that, if you live in an apartment building, they have neighboring, gang stalkers who have devices that basically, I guess, amplify the frequencies or amplify the, the transmissions. I don't know. I don't really know fully how it works, but all I know is there is some heavy device that is inside of people's homes, and then some people have them in their car, some people probably, have them in backpacks or something like that. There's some type of device that works as like an amplifier or a transmitter or something like that. Something that it interacts with the electromagnetic energy within, a home, or something that, I guess, creates an influx of radiation within, within an area, something. I don't fully know how it works, but whatever it is, someone has some type of electronic device that basically interferes with the electricity in your home, and then it creates even more radiation in your home than what would be normally produced just from regular usage. Now, I made the video right? So, and then also on top of that, my mom, she wasn't feeling too well, and I try to always I try to keep teaching her about electromagnetic radiation sickness or microwave radiation sickness. And I told her it feels exactly like the flu. It feels just like the flu. Might as well say it feels just like, CVD. I try to keep it, so that way the video won't get flagged. Anyway, but it feels exactly like the same symptoms. But the world is slow to wake up to that. Anyway, so I gave her the salt and soda bath, sea salt, 1 pound of sea, 1 pound of sea salt, 1 pound of baking soda. Stir that in and make sure it dissolves into the water. I add half a cup of hydrogen peroxide because that works as a topical cleanse to the skin. And you stir that all into the water, make sure everything's dissolved. Had her basically soak in the tub for about 40 minutes. And I kid you not, she was dragging herself across the house, for the most part. Then after she got out that tub, I had left my door open. I seen her just kind of like she was basically walking just as regular, if not walking. She was just he ain't got no lights on, but she was just basically skipping across the floor. And when she went back in her room, got dressed, came out, she was just walking all fast. I was like, oh, somebody feel better? She was like, yeah, I feel better. I was like, see, I told you. You need to listen to your son. Your son is out here trying to save lives. If I could, I'm out here trying to save lives in such a way I ain't never really thought I'd have to do so. I remember at one point in my life I wanted to become an EMT. At one point in my life I wanted to become an athletic trainer. That's basically like a physical therapist for athletes. So when you think about it, it's kind of like a mix, it's like a dabble between a personal trainer, physical therapist, an EMT, and like a nurse. It's like 4 things in one. So I go to sleep, right? I think I went to bed somewhere around like what was it? Well, before I went to sleep, there was 2 specific videos that I ended up one TI. She lives out in Mexico, but she was a former government employee, and then she started to report things going on, like I think back in the early 90s or so. And ever since then, she's been targeted. She tried to move all over the country, move to various parts of the world, and still was being targeted. If you ever want to learn or get to know the information that she has, her name is Catherine Quinn. You can find her on Facebook. I don't know if she has any other social media profiles, but she's on Facebook as Catherine Quinn. And that's Quinn with 2 N's, Quinn. And she sends me this video about something about, what was it? Basically, how the World Economic Forum is actually about to fail in their attempt to, I guess, dominate the world and their agenda of basically creating havoc to then produce a solution using the banks and food and energy crises, things of that sort. And then I don't remember the actual, wait, hold on, let me see. Yeah, it's called the WEF, and damn, I forgot that fast. It's called the WEF, and the globalists are losing. That's the name, that's the title of the video on YouTube, right? I watched that one. It's about like 20 minutes, I believe. But yeah, so that was a really good insight on the what is it? I guess if you want to look at the economical agenda on how they'll create like their new world, government and stuff like that. Then after that video had finished, for whatever reason, this other video pops up, and it was about basically the secret of the Christ oil that is within us. Now, I kid you not. Wait, let me find what the exact name of that video is. All right, so it's called "This is the Sacred Secret Instant Third Eye Activation." And it's basically a video about, well, it starts off with Jim Carrey. Now, anybody who knows anything about Jim Carrey, especially in his later end of his career, Jim Carrey is like one of the most woke and aware celebrities there are, and as much as people want to hate on Kanye knows exactly what's going on. Kanye knows, or Ye knows exactly what's going on. And they're trying to shut him up just like they did JFK. Ye knows exactly what's going on. And you know what? I'm going to say it like this. In the Bible, it says clearly it says in the Bible, but of course they don't, they do not necessarily agree with anything that's written in the Bible. But it says, there are those who say they are Jews but are not. I'm going to just leave it at that. Because I know a lot of Jewish people, and I know there's some really cool Jewish people out there. But I also know not everybody who say that there's something are actually who they are. Just like there are people who tell people they're Christians, but they're not real Christians. There are people who are, Buddhists, but they're not real Buddhists. There are people who are philanthropists, but they're not real philanthropists. It's a cover-up. It's something that they do to protect themselves while they do dirt in the world. But we try to act like we don't acknowledge that not everybody who claims to be something is perfect. Anyway, so what's the words I'm looking for? Oh, got a little water up there. So yeah, so I go to sleep, right? Oh yeah, definitely watch that video about the Christos oil. The oil that's secreted, the spinal fluid, the oil that's within us, and what these techno-pagans are trying to do against the body to prevent you from being able to ascend and gain that higher consciousness. Because every animal and just about almost all the plants and animals on this earth are acknowledging that there is a shift happening in the universe. The electromagnetic fields, everything about energy on this planet is shifting, and we are not in line. We are not in tune with the universe. We are not in tune with the universe. And because of that, that is why something catastrophic, damn near close to like what, happened to many civilizations of old, is going to happen. We're not in tune with the universe. So regardless of what they think they're going to do with all their technology, we're still going to face the same demise because we are not in tune with the universe. But so I go to sleep, or at least I went into a type of sleep. I never did fully get to go to sleep. Why? Because I realized at some point I felt myself laying down. I felt myself kind of sleeping. But you know that space when you're entered into that dream manipulation, that simulation, that moment you feel like you're not fully asleep. You're not fully asleep. And because you're still conscious. You're still conscious. They tried to take me out. They tried to take me out several times. And how they tried to do it, like I told you, aerosolized nanobots, right? Or what we can basically almost consider like a gas. It felt like I was trying to breathe, right? I felt my mouth was open and I was trying to breathe. It wasn't like my esophagus was closing up or anything like that, but it felt like there was some type of thick, like smog or something going into my mouth, and then it kind of like created like a blockage so that air wouldn't be able to pass through it. So I felt like I couldn't inhale or exhale anything. And I was trying to, but it felt like something was basically trying to prevent me from actually being able to breathe in oxygen. Now, I don't have respiratory issues, and fuck all this shit that they talking about RSV and CVD. I've watched the lectures and the talks that Dr. James Giordano has had on nanotechnology and weaponized nanobots, weaponized aerosolized nanobots. You gotta realize you can't see nanobots with your naked eye. But if you have the right device or you have the right type of chemicals, and I need to find that video, someone had made a mixture of something, some type of like liquid or whatever. They put it into a spray bottle. They sprayed it in the air in their home. They sprayed it in the air in their home. And whatever was in the stuff that was in their home, it carried the liquid almost in like a stream. Like he said, you could actually see it being carried in the air, like it was like you know how like when something is on like smoke, it creates like a stream, like when it's settling in the air, when it settles in the air, and it creates like that wavy like stream. He said you can actually see it when you're under the right light. He sprayed it in the air, and he actually saw that smog, that electromagnetic smog, being carried by the nanobots. They tried to take me out, and I remember I could hear them clearly talking to their audience on their cloud server, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm not going to give them not 1 ounce of fear. I'm going to just wait. I'm going to keep trying to breathe, but I'm going to just wait. I remember taking my right hand and just hitting my chest and then trying to see if I can release or cause some type of opening, or like some type of damn, that shit is loud. It's just a garbage truck, but hold on. Right. So I remember taking my right hand and like hitting my chest one time, and then as I hit my chest, I felt oxygen come in, right? I felt the oxygen come in. But, all right. But I felt the oxygen come in, and then next thing you know, after that first little bit of oxygen came in, all of a sudden, that thickness reappeared back in my throat. So I couldn't breathe in again. So I was just like, okay, so I know exactly what this is. They're not going to kill me, at least not yet. But then I also remembered, I am a child of God. I realized that. I was like, I am a child of God, so they're not allowed to kill me yet. They got to get God's permission just to take me out. All these Luciferians out here, it's like the story, it's like the book of Job. Is literally like the book of Job. The devil has to ask God for permission just to take your life. They can't just kill you outright. Especially if you're one who's actually exposing all the secret stuff that they doing to our global societies and, civilizations. They can't just outright kill you. Unless it's a part of God's plan, purpose for you. But I told myself, I said, I'm not going to give him not 1 ounce of fear. So then eventually I ended up waking up groggy. I'm just like, I know exactly what it was. So I was like, okay, just got to recalibrate myself, get up, do whatever. It was like 1 o'clock, I tried to go back to sleep. That was kind of hard to do, So, what time is it? 3:51. Train is leaving in 10 minutes. I might be late. I don't know. Oh. Yeah, people who aren't being targeted have no idea how tiring it is to be sleep deprived, and then you got to get up early in the morning. Your body's being radiated while you sleep. Mind you, when I put the magnets on the reflector, right? The moment I started putting the magnets on the reflector, like the exact moment that I felt the pressure started to relieve from the skull, like all the pressure was around here. Matter of fact, right now, there's like a lot of heat and like the feeling of my hand coming in contact with some type of external energy that's all right here. The moment I start to feel the pressure release, that's when all of a sudden I start to hear like something heavy being dragged across the floor, but it was coming closer in my direction. Because if you watch the whole video, the last video, you see where my bed is. My bed is basically against the wall on the other side where, like I got the reflectors in the center of the room. But with the dragging, sound like it was coming from across the room. Like if it was upstairs, it was coming from across the room and coming closer. Like you had to go just past where the reflectors were. So, yeah, I tried to go back to sleep. Couldn't really go back to sleep because at that point, that's when I started to feel more pressure in the head, because now they done changed the position of where they put their device at. So I tried to take the reflectors down from off the ceiling and place them around my head, but I don't think it was, it wasn't that successful. So at this point I realized they're using something to help them with the precision of their aiming or directing of the energy. And in order for them to do it remotely from like computers or whatever, they need some other device, some type of like, I guess, middleman device or like a relay or whatever, to be placed near where they're trying to, do most of their interactions with. They had to place it closer where they wouldn't get much interference. Let me see. Yeah, I couldn't really get much sleep after that. And then as I was like basically laying in my bed trying to sleep a little bit more, all of a sudden I'm hearing them saying, he know he got special privileges. He got special privileges. These special privileges, I have no idea what they're talking about. But then I start to think about the book of Job. In the book of Job, the first two chapters, the devil, he comes to God. He's like, I was walking around earth, causing all this mayhem, and God's like, basically, do you know about my faithful one Job? He's like perfect, not like perfect in the way you think, but he's a righteous dude. He's an honest person. He's loving. He fears God, stuff like that. So then the devil's like, oh, do you think he won't curse you if I do all these things to him? He's like, Job, nah. Job knows better. But I tell you what, I'll let you do whatever you want, but don't take his life. That's what I feel like. I feel like many of us who are being targeted all over the world, we are basically like Job. If we don't actually die from the type of torment that they're doing to us, we don't basically curse God, we don't disrespect God, or we don't try to blame God for what's happening to us. We are basically Job. We are, some of God's favorite children on this planet. If you can endure whatever the devil's trying to do, whatever these Luciferians, whatever these secret society, fallen angels, whatever they want to call themselves, if you can endure whatever they're doing to you without, blaspheming God's name, I believe you're still going to come out on top of this. But you gotta maintain your peace. You gotta maintain you gotta give God glory no matter what. So as you can see, I'm still here, and I solely believe that I have a purpose to continue doing this, and for as long as I'm still alive and as long as I'm still breathing, I'm going to keep doing this. Even if they somehow try to create some type of setup to try to throw me in prison or whatever, I'm gonna be writing from out of prison. I don't care. I'll probably find addresses to people that I could write to, and I'm still gonna be writing. Yeah, so, and then, in the Bible it says, the devil will throw some of you in prison, but you will find tribulation in 10 days. That's actually in Revelations. Now I think about it. I can't remember where in Revelations though. It says the devil will throw you in prison and you shall find tribulation in 10 days. So, on that note, remember, don't give them not 1 ounce of fear, because that's what they're doing. They're fear mongers. Maintain your peace at all times. And whatever you do, some of y'all gotta be careful when you're out there, like, taking your cell phone out and you're like all up in people's faces, recording them and stuff like that. You gotta be careful with it, because some of these people that are, going along with the gang stuff, some of them are actual savages. Some of them will not even think twice about trying to cause physical harm to you. Like they will do something, especially if you're in the hood, or somewhere where violence is prone in these particular areas. So just be careful when you're out here, trying to record your gang stalkers or whatever. Because some of them don't have no chill. Some of them will go over. They'll say fuck all this covert stuff and secrecy stuff, and they will go back to their natural way, and they will come at you physically. So I just wanted to make sure I say that. Be careful out here. As always, take life one breath, one thought, one step, one day at a time. Peace.